Okay, recording.
All right, so beer specifically is a malt alcoholic beverage. Okay, so what that means is that the alcohol is made by yeast consuming sugar. So the sugar content comes from malt when you're making beer. There are also some spirits or liquors, hard liquors, that are made with malt-based alcohol. And it's basically where you just do the same thing as making beer, but instead of carbonating it, putting it into a package, either like a keg or a bottle or a can, you distill it, where you're basically separating out the alcohol from everything else to make it more concentrated. That's things like whiskey, scotch. Those are malt-based hard liquors. So beer, though, the first thing I'll probably show you on the tour is we'll go outside and you'll see our grain silo. So that holds all of our malt. So malt is basically just grain that was farmed, and then they took it to a maltster where they germinated it. Basically, you steep it in water just to get it so that it would start to grow like a plant, and then you kiln it. So that will stop the process of it actually sprouting and growing. And then the starches that are created in that are converted into sugars during the actual brewing process, which is what we do.
Okay.
And that's the sugars that are turned into alcohol by the yeast. So let's go ahead and head on over there, and I'll start showing you around. So there are 4 main ingredients in beer. There's water, there's malt, hops, and yeast. Those are the 4 main ingredients that are traditionally seen in beer.
Got it.
So they're all very, very important ingredients. Water is something that's commonly overlooked. So this wall right here, starting at these gold tanks, going all the way to that water vessel that water tank you can see right there. Everything that's mounted on the wall back here is specifically designed to strip the water of all the minerals that are in it. It's called a reverse osmosis system. So RO is short for it. Basically, it's just a very large industrial filter that makes it so we have almost pure H2O. So it's just water.
Oh, wow.
Then we add the minerals that we want back in. Kind of an interesting fact, though, there are a lot of traditional styles of beer that were made in specific locations because of what they already had in their water. Back in the day, when you were doing more historical brewing, you could only make with what you had. We didn't have this whole mechanical process to strip it of water, so you're really only able to make things with the water you had.
Oh,
So,
it's strong.
yeah. So Germany is really known for some of its lagers, and because they have such good water content for those specific styles, they make really good ones. So like I said, this is the grain silo. This is where we hold all of our base malt. So we talked about water a little bit. The next ingredient we'll talk about is malt. So this is base malt. It's where the majority of the sugar content is going to come from. There's also specialty malt. Specialty malt is for color, flavor. It can also have like different aspects of like head retention, which just makes it so that the foam stays longer in the beer, on top of the beer, and different aspects that help contribute to the style of each beer. So we have kind of our systems out here that we use for making hot water and cold water, or just controlling hot and cold processes. So this is right here as our boiler. As you can tell, it's pretty ancient. Not probably as ancient as your Chinese ways, but it's pretty ancient.
Definitely.
So this creates steam, and the steam goes into jackets that are around different vessels, so that it can heat those vessels up. And then over here, this white rectangular